If all you have is $1,000 and you're looking to build the best gaming and productivity PC in 2026, then this right here is gonna be unbeatable. Even though RAM prices are slowly starting to come down, it's still really expensive to do any AM5 builds, considering a 32GB 6000 DDR5 kit still goes for around $325 US. As a result, we do have to stick with a DDR4 system, at least for this budget, and the total that I've spent on this was $972.97 for all these parts. So with that said, let's get started. So we're starting off with the best DDR4 CPU money can buy, which is the Ryzen 7 5800 XT that I bought for $200 from Newegg, which had a $20 off coupon. This is still an awesome 8-core, 16-thread gaming CPU that's still in production. Of course, it doesn't compete against the X3D counterpart, as the 5800 X3D is still the best AM4 CPU in existence, but it's no longer in production. And these go for insane prices in the used market, which isn't worth it. Now, since the total cost of the PC is roughly around $973, we still have $27 to spend towards a CD key, which is needed to activate Windows. But you guys don't have to buy one if you don't want to, but if you do, I highly recommend grabbing it from VIP or CDKey.com, since they are not only the most reliable, but also have the fastest delivery times. You can pick up a Microsoft Office 2016 key and Windows 11 Pro keys for dirt cheap. But if you put in the code TS25, you can unlock the cheapest price, dropping the Windows 11 price all the way down to $25, which still puts the total under $1,000. Just remember to visit the user center section up top, navigate to your keys, then click on the view key so you can copy and paste that into the activation settings of Windows and you're good to go. Now for the motherboard, we do have a few options depending on what form factor you want to go with. The ASRock B550 Phantom Gaming 4 AC is a really nice option if you're planning on doing a full ATX build. This one comes with 4 DIMM slots and Wi-Fi built in for $80. But I decided to go micro ATX for this build, and I opted for the Gigabyte B550M Gaming Wi-Fi X, which also supports 4 memory sticks. It's got 2 M.2 slots and built-in Wi-Fi that I picked up for only $64. Granted, this was an open box deal on Newegg, which explains the really good deal, but if the offer is no longer available or if it's sold out, I will leave links to similar options down below. Sadly, that's the reality of the current situation. By the time I order the parts, build the PC, film the video, edit and upload, items are either out of stock or the prices have changed. So I will do my best to constantly update the description section of this video to give you guys similar options that are in the same price range. Now let's talk memory, okay? It's no secret by now that the prices of DDR4 have gone up as a result due to the DDR5 crisis. And even though the prices have stabilized and have slowly started to come down, they are still too high, and honestly, it is not worth buying brand new. The cheapest 32GB DDR4 kit right now goes for $192. I would not recommend buying new. Even if you're my worst enemy, I wouldn't recommend you to go out there and buy a brand new DDR4 kit until the prices come back down to normal. Memory is one of the components where I strongly urge you to buy used. You can find a 32GB DDR4 kit with 3200 mega transfers for as low as $80. I mean, there are tons of listings in my area that are selling for that price. And worst case scenario, if you live in the middle of nowhere, you can also find good deals on eBay, which is way more secure. In fact, I bought 2 separate 32GB kits from eBay for $110 each just to prove that. They both arrived in really good packaging and in great condition, and the best part is I literally saved about $100, which I put into other parts of the system. If you have to, and you absolutely have to buy brand new, then I recommend picking up the NetHack Shadow, as these are the cheapest 32GB DDR4 kit in the market. But honestly, don't do it. Don't give these greedy corporations your hard-earned money, but that's just my recommendation. You guys can do whatever you want with your money. Storage has also gone up in price quite a bit since last year, but Crucial is holding it down with their P310 1TB Gen 4 NVMe drives, which you can pick up for $107. These are currently the cheapest Gen 4 M.2 drives online with really good speeds, up to 7100 megabytes per second read. In fact, it's so good, 9,000 people are buying it every month. Now, when it comes to the graphics card, again, if you guys want the most value out of your system, then I would avoid buying brand new. It's just it's just not worth it right now, okay? Originally, I was gonna recommend going with the RX 9060 XT 16GB model, but at the time making this video, the prices have gone up so much that it's just not even worth it anymore. Just a few weeks ago, the cheapest 9060 XT was going for $350, but since then, the price has increased by another $120 for the 16GB model. Why would anyone pay close to $500 for subpar 1080p performance when you could spend $300 on an RTX 3080 and get more performance? You basically save $170 and gain 50% more performance. I mean, there are tons of RTX 3080 listings for $300, sometimes even cheaper. I was even able to snag an RTX 3080 Founders Edition for $300 nearby. But if you're patient, you can easily find one for $300 on the dot or less. I wish I can recommend buying brand new parts, just like the good old days. I really wish, you guys, but honestly, it's just not worth it anymore, especially in this economy. Prices are too inflated and the greedy corporations are taking advantage of the average consumer. If you really want to buy a brand new GPU, then the only card I'd recommend buying for this budget is the RX 7700 XT. It still competes with the 9060 XT, has 12 gigs of VRAM, and you still get access to FSR 3. The cheapest 7700 XT is currently the ASRock Challenger, coming in at $400, and right now that is the best option for this price range. Aside from that, either the RTX 3080 or if you want to go AMD, the RX 6800 would be the perfect fit in this budget. Adding a cooler is optional since the CPU technically does come with its own stock heatsink, but we had plenty of budget left over, so I decided to toss in a 360 AIO from Antec. This is the Skeleton 360 ARGB cooler, and it currently goes for $50 on Amazon. It's nothing super fancy, just triple 120mm RGB fans and a pump with subtle RGB accents. More than plenty to keep the temps down on the CPU while staying silent. For the power supply, I went with the ASRock Pro 850 watt unit, which is completely overkill for the PC, but for the price, I honestly couldn't pass it up. You get an 850 watt gold certified power supply for $65. That is an insanely good price, especially when you factor in the included 12VH power cable. Now, this particular unit isn't listed on the SPL PSU tier list, but all the other ASRock PSUs on there are rated A tier, and the reviews on Newegg are good, so I don't have any doubts that this is a good quality unit. And finally, the case I decided to go with is the popular Lee & Vector V100 Mini, which is the micro ATX version of its bigger brother. Since we're going with a micro ATX board, it just makes sense sticking with a micro ATX case to make sure the build doesn't look empty. You still get space for up to a 360mm AIO on the top, you get 4 included 120mm RGB fans, and USB-C connectivity, which pairs perfectly with our motherboard since we do have onboard USB-C. Once again, the total cost of this PC is $973 without the CD key and $998 with it. Now, there are some optional upgrades you can add to improve the overall look of the system, like the Hydra 24-pin cable. This really cleans up the look and adds a bit of RGB as well. This is not required to build a PC, just an optional upgrade to improve the aesthetics. So with all that said, let's take a look at performance.
Here, I'm close. There. Kitchen. One on roof across.
Reinforcing armor. Incoming fire.
Enemy destroyed.
Dropping max.
So yeah, overall, very solid performance across all the games, with Borderlands 4 being the exception, since that game is horribly optimized. But one thing I will say is if you're planning on playing in 1080p, this system is a little overkill. As you saw there was barely any performance difference between both resolutions, so I do recommend buying a 1440p monitor to pair with this system. Links to everything will be posted down below if you guys want to copy this PC, and if you want to build it, I'll leave a link to my build guide as well, which will help you from start to finish on building a PC. And also make sure to watch my setup guide to make sure you're optimizing your system to take advantage of its full potential. Let me know in the comment section what budget I should focus on next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.